In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the front brake line on your Toyota Highlander. Using a 21mm socket, remove your 5 lug nuts. Remove your wheel. Install a brake pedal depressor to prevent fluid from continuously flowing out of the brake line when we change it. Loosen the 10mm nut going from the hard line to the soft line. Make sure you have a drip bucket under because it will start leaking. If you didn't install a brake pedal depressor, you want to keep an eye on your brake fluid in the reservoir and make sure it doesn't run dry while you're doing this job. Using a pair of pliers, we're going to grab this little locking tab that's located holding this brake line in the bracket. Pull straight out, put that to the side. You can then pull the soft line out of the hard line. We're going to remove the 12mm bolt out of the brake hose bracket. Remove the hose out of the bracket. Remove the 14mm bolt on the back of the caliper for the brake line. When you take the bolt out, make sure there's no copper washers on it. If there is, take it off now. Install your new washer. Install that into the brake line and install the other washer onto the other side. Before installing, check to make sure there's no copper washer left on the caliper. If there is, remove that now. Install the line. There's a spot for it to sit with that little tang going in, and screw the bolt in. Torque the union bolt to 22 foot-pounds. If you can't get a torque wrench in there, do the best you can. Install the brake hose into its bracket. I'm going to torque this bolt to 15 foot-pounds. Before I start putting the brake hose up into here, I'm going to clean any dirt that's on top of this bracket that could fall into the line while we're installing it. You don't want any debris in these lines. Push the brake hose up and in. There will be a right way for this to go in, and it will click up and in. I like to start the threads on the hard line into the soft line before I put my locking plate in. Once the brake hose is installed fully and in the correct position, we're going to insert our little locking plate. And tighten down our 10mm nut. Snug down the 10mm nut that's going from the hard line to the soft line. We're going to clean up all the area that got wet. You want to do this so after your road test, you can see if anything's actually leaking. If it was already wet, you're going to be chasing it Same with on the caliper. Anywhere that's wet, remove the rubber cap off of the bleeder. Before we open the bleeder, we're going to go into our car and remove our brake pedal depressor. With our brake pedal not pressed, we're going to go ahead and open our bleeder screw and start gravity bleeding the caliper. We're going to wait until there is no bubbles coming out of this stream, and then we'll go ahead and close the bleeder screw. While you're gravity bleeding the line, you want to keep an eye on your level. Keep an eye on your master cylinder. Make sure it doesn't run dry of fluid. Once we have a nice steady drip stream with no bubbles coming out, we can close the bleeder. I'm going to clean off the bleeder and anywhere that the fluid got on the caliper and make sure it's dry. You can use brake parts cleaner to help you. Reinstall the bleeder cap. Once you have the wheel back on, you're going to want to take this for a road test. If on your road test you find any fluid around the union bolt or around the hard and soft line, you're going to want to either tighten your fittings or take it apart and see if anything is causing the seal to not seal properly. Install the wheel back onto the car. Install the 5 lug nuts. Snug them down in a star pattern to ensure that it's square. And then once it's on the ground, we'll torque the wheels. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to torque the wheels to 76 foot-pounds in a star pattern. I like to go around twice and make sure they don't move at all. You're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.